I think that's huge, because, I mean, now this is not, I'm not up here preaching, this is just a discussion. We can't see it, so how are we going to believe it? Anybody got any suggestions on that? We can't see it. Well, okay, let's look at the one key word in that definition, and this is the NIV version, New International Version. The ancients. So what? Isn't that what we have to believe in? The Bible and the ancients that are mentioned. What are we talking about? Moses, Jacob. Scott says in his prayer, the father of Isaac, Jacob, Abraham. Isn't that what we're looking at? We got to really believe that this is all selected. This is what happened.
We have to have confidence. Confidence is what we...
What do you feel about that word? What do you mean? What does that word mean to you, Claire? Confidence.
I feel safe in that word. I feel safe. I feel like it's
Okay.
true.
There's different ways to look at confidence then, isn't there? Safe, that's your definition. And that's not, there you go. And there's other two. This is not the kind of confidence, well, I know I can do that. That's not the confidence you're talking about, is it?
Evidence of things not seen.
That's true. And we're going to talk about that in chapter 11. So that's the meaning. I think Jamie and Claire both know it. Evidence of things not seen. By faith we understand that the universe, here we go, the universe was formed at God's command. So that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. Now Weaver, you're one of the most knowledgeable people in this room. You've done a lot of study. That word universe. And you've done a lot of studying about people that share some of your thoughts on this, what is this, Big Bang Theory?
Well, I believe what is as far as the so-called Big Bang Theory, so-called about all of that. You go back to history, what was, and if you believe the Bible at all, you've got to read Genesis 1:1. But in the beginning, God created everything, period. Well, how do you do it? By the power of His Word. You got have a play all the speaking the word and it happens. The power of the word. That's what I see.
So, how do you think these people, like, well, not Darwin necessarily, but evolution, but, and that does have some, how did they come about? Do you think they want to believe these?
I don't think it's true. I don't think it's thinking. I don't think they want something concrete. They don't. I think some people just can't believe in something. I had one of our kids, the writer's mother, tell me, she says, I just don't believe in all that magic stuff.
And she's referring to this.
Yes.
And that's,
And I think they just don't know how to let go and believe in something that they can put their hands on or explain.
that's true. I'm not up here to give my take on that. I agree with that totally.
When they believe the first president of the United States was George Washington, they never saw him.
That's a good point.
Right, but they
We do believe our history.
And I think, you know, that's sort of been throughout history. We have legends and myths. Throughout history, people have tried to explain what they couldn't, what they didn't understand. Like the Indians had legends of the bluebonnet and all the different things. They didn't understand where it all came from or what it was, so they made up stories to explain it. And because they couldn't grasp it.
Did the Indians, did their forefathers pass this down to them?
Right, because they didn't have any written language, they didn't have the word of God. So they explained it through stories and legends. And I think people have throughout history tried to explain it. So you can't prove to me that the word of God is there by nature. You know, we should believe in that. And it all started with something, even the big bakery. So I quit, and I had to teach it. But I said, that's hard. I don't have a problem with the big bakery. My class wanted to put it in the water and the you know, so it grew up and made it.
That's a good point.
But I think that big bang theory is, people will believe something from that theory which absolutely has no basis scientifically that can even happen. Because they even say that over what the Bible says how it was created. They won't believe that, but they'll believe this other, which is, you can't be proven anyway. You know,
Because again, don't you think, Ray, because it suits their conscience. Yep.
well, they've rejected God.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not accepting God, so they're not going to believe it regardless of what proof you show.
It all boils down to free will.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
That's what God gave.
We go on to look in verse 4. It says, by faith, Abel brought God a better sacrifice offering than Cain. By faith, he was commended as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings. And by faith, Abel still speaks even though he is dead. Now, that's what I want to work on right here if we've got time. Scott, can you go to Genesis? I'm going to put you on the spot. 4 through 11. If you don't mind reading those few verses, we're going to all go with it and talk about it. I want to talk about
Chapter 4,
yeah,
1 through 11.
4 through 11. This is, I'm going to break this down before he reads it. This is God talking with Abraham, trying to, like, when we get angry, and this is my problem with anger, I think that everybody can get angry. And it's capable for some reason we have to do this. God's trying to not appease, but to reason with him. Genesis chapter 4. But he's trying to reason with Cain. And you're probably already there, and I'm messing with this iPad, and I won't never get there.
Ready?
I'm ready when you're ready. That's why I called him.
Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and their fat. The Lord respected Abel and his offering, but he did not respect Cain and his offering. And Cain was very hungry, and his countenance fell. So the Lord said to Cain, why are you angry? And why is your countenance fallen? If you do well, you will not be accepted. Oh, if you do well, will you not be accepted?
Yeah, he's asking a question.
And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. Now Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, where is Abel your brother? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. So now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand.
All right, but that's, how is he still speaking to us from being dead, from what we read in Hebrews? Huh? It's not right, exactly. God knows everything, so his brother's blood is still crying to God, right?
And we're still talking about Abel's faith and offering the right sacrifice.
That's how he's speaking to us. I wanted to make that point before we went on, and there's several places we'll go if we get time to get to it. We'll go back to Hebrews now and keep looking at some of these examples. All right, on in verse 6. Okay, verse 6 says, okay, by faith Enoch was taken from this life. This is 5. By faith Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God was taken away. Before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleases God. And we have, do we have any idea why he's taken away? Causing this extreme phase? Any comments on that? Any at all? I think,
He had a close relation with God.
exactly. He did, he had a close relation. Verse 6 says, and was commended as one who by faith is impossible to please God. And how much, and this is under the new law, he's saying, how much plainer can you get than that? And without faith. Well, can we really believe what we want to believe? Go ahead,
I
Lee.
have another point about that. What phrase, what you said about faith, that's what it said, but modern day version of faith is equal to I just believe that that's all I need to believe.
Okay.
I didn't know that, sir, but that's not what this is saying at all. Faith is the idea of faithful obedience. And if you're not faithful obedience, you don't have faith.
What did all these people do? They actually, faith in actions. We're going to go back. Go ahead, Kate.
Well, the interesting thing is Cain and Abel were living, and Enoch was living, and most of those people who read about Genesis, there wasn't a written word. But they knew God, and they knew faith is what they counted on. I mean, that was what was behind everything. They believed. They heard the stories were passed down from generation, and they had the evidence that they were true.
That's true. Now, do you think, let me ask you this since you bring that up, and y'all can throw stones at me, and we're going to get to throwing stones, I hope we do. Did they have an advantage because they could actually see and work with God and talk, and do we have these stories over us, really? I just thought of what you just said, and I've always thought, well, they have a little advantage over us, they could actually see, but they didn't have the written word, did they?
And they did not.
No,
They had prophets.
that's right. And I wonder if Cain and Abel, later on, this is before Moses, and y'all know Kevin's been studying about this in Exodus on Wednesday night, those of you that are in here. Moses didn't even look straight at God, and his face was shining and glowing like crazy.
Well, he only saw him from the back. He can't look at him.
Told him not to look at him, didn't he?
Right, well, he saw him as he went by.
Right.
Supposedly, I don't know how that.
Okay, I'm asking a question here, because I don't know.
Before you go right away, that's something I think you would take on.
That's what I'm asking right there. He did speak to Cain, Abel,
Now he was like that.
but he did speak. Did he speak to Cain or Abel? They said he took him out there and talked to him.
Well, Adam and Eve were right there with God all the time when they sinned. That's it. That's even that.
That's right.
Not an excuse, but that's.
Go back, like you said, it's faith and obedience. You have to have faith in it, and then you have to do what he wants you to do. And you can have, because even the devil knows who God is,
And trembling.
but he doesn't have the obedience to follow him. He's doing what he wants to do.
Right. It got to him though.
And the demons in the New Testament, they know who Jesus was right away. So they know that there's a other part of that.
Right. Exactly. Let's move on to verse 7. Kind of skipping around here a little bit. By faith, Noah, when warned about things not yet seen in holy fear, built an ark, fear, to save his family. By his faith, he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness that is keeping with faith. So, Noah built an ark. Faith drove him to build this ark. And it was a heck of an ark. And I guess you can still drive to Cincinnati and see the remake of it. It's there. And I think it's going to be there after this 40 days and 40 nights thing's over with. It's going to be there from now on. So maybe I'll get up there and see it. That'd be a good road trip. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place, would later receive his inheritance, obeying. And when even though he did not know where he was going, by faith he made his home in the promised land like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise. Did that take a lot of faith? Were there 70 of them? Was the whole family? I believe what Exodus says, or maybe the end of Genesis. They just picked it up and moved. All of them. Do we have people that do that today, though, and following one guy? I don't know if they get their example from this or not. What does it mean? Is there any comment on that?
I think they probably don't know about this.
I think you're exactly right.
It's just human nature to want to follow someone who's in a position of leadership.
And I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but boy, I tell you, we had some real charismatic people that got people that were smart and were searching, educated, successful, and they were just really looking and probably hadn't been following these people and lost their lives in the process, killed themselves, or let him burn the place up, or, whatever. But anyway, we talked about it, so for some of the wrong reasons, haven't probably even read this. We go on in verse 11, and it says, and by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was enabled to bear children because she considered him faithful, who had made the promise. But what did she do at first? Didn't she laugh? But she believed it in the end, but she got a child. And so from this, one man, and he is as good as dead, came descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and as countless as the sand on the seashore. All of these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on the earth. People who say such things show that they are looking for a country of their own. If they had been thinking of the country they had left, they would have had the opportunity to return. Instead, they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. By faith, Abraham, when tested, offered up Isaac as a sacrifice. Now, how hard would that be? And we've heard the story all our life. I mean, the hammer was coming down, was it not? When it stopped. Or the axe, or whatever. He who had embraced that promise was about to sacrifice this one and only son. Even though God had said to him, it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. Abraham reasoned that God could even raise the dead, and so much in manner of speaking, he had received Isaac back from the dead. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau in regarding their future. By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of Joseph's sons and worshipped as he leaned on the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when his end was near, spoke about Exodus of the Israelites from Egypt and gave instructions concerning the burial of his bones. Now, we talked about envy and anger. Look what Joseph's brothers did to him. Did he have a right attitude in the end, or all along? How did God take care of Joseph over and over and over? He even caught the favor of the warden when he was in prison, did he not? I think if we go and look at this, he's trying to show us if we have faith and don't give up and believe in him, and that's all we have, as we discussed this morning. There's no other place to go. We go on and it says, by faith, Moses' parents had hid him for 3 months after he was born, because they saw he was an ordinary child and they were not afraid of the king's city. All right, let's look at this in today's time. Most of us in here probably are, I don't have any, but some of you do have grandchildren, and there's people back here that are children, too, that have children. You young ladies that have them, and you got them. So I've got to ask you, if your newest child, could you hide that child for 3 months and not be near it? I mean, let's say we're looking at what's happened in the last, if you had enough faith, that'd be tough, wouldn't it? be away from him. So these are kind of instances that Moses' parents had a lot of faith. And it also goes along by faith. Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than enjoying the fleeting pleasures of sin. Anybody want to comment on that? Remember what that was like? He had made. They liked him. Until he saw one of his brothers being mistreated. And he, how many of us would have stood up like that? I mean, I've seen the movies only when they were being mistreated. They were building all these structures for Pharaoh. And a lot of them died while they were building it because of the scaffolding and the way they were changing the scaffolding. This is just the way the movie showed it. But he could have stayed out all of it. How easy would that have been? I mean, that would have been much easier to have done that. So we look at that, and he made a hard choice there. By faith, he says that he left Egypt, not fearing the king's anger. He preserved because he saw him who is invisible. By faith, he kept the Passover and the application of blood so that the destroyer of the firstborn would not touch the firstborn of Israel. We all remember those stories. So he did that. And that. So let's make an analogy. Does it make any sense here to paint the blood over your door? Did that seem like a practical thing to do? What we're studying on Wednesday night in Exodus, is it a practical thing to line up the kidneys and the liver and all this in order on the grill to cook it? It's because God said to do it that way. So these people had faith. There's other examples, but he did that. You know, we go on in verse 29, by faith the people passed through the Red Sea as on the dry land. When the Egyptians tried to do so, they were drowned. And there again, the movie, I think the movie portrays it pretty accurate. Would you have been scared to go down through the bottom of that sea with it parted? Or did you trust God that I've been very nervous. I would have been very nervous. I would have.
I think sometimes it's better to remember the bad to be able to go on to the good.
That's a good point. I never thought of it that way. Jimmy Smith, can you do me a favor? Can you go to Matthew chapter 9, verses 22 and 24? Because we're getting to that. Okay, other examples. By faith, the prostitute Rahab, because she welcomed the spies, was not killed with those who were disobedient. She was a harlot. So sometimes we have to be in this situation of faith, and it doesn't need to be brought out, but it's something that could be talked about in this instance. And I missed about the walls of Jericho, and I'll get back to that. We have enough faith. We got to have faith in people that have done. We've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. Romans 3:23. But I think faith factors into the point when we have people come to this building, we know if they're earnest and sincere and really need help, we can't look down on them no matter what they do. We got to help them. Now that don't mean that there's a lot of others that this is their way of life to get help going on. We still have to have faith to help them in something. So that's a real hard one to negotiate with yourself. That you have to do it. And of course, by faith, the walls of I'm skipping back up to 30. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell after the army had marched around them for 7 days. And then go back to 32. I skipped one. And what more shall I say? I do not have time to tell about it. He's any of it. The other people, Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, by David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, and gained what was promised, to shut the mouths of the lion. 34 says, quenched the fury of the flames and escaped the edge of the sword, whose weaknesses was turned to strength and who became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies. All right, this is where Jimmy's going to come in. Women who received back their dead, raised to life again. There were others who tortured, refusing to release so they might gain even better resurrection. Read that 9, 22, and 23. Yeah, 24. There you go.
But Jesus turned and seen her and said, Daughter, take courage, your faith has made you well. And at once the woman was made well. And when Jesus came into the official's house and saw the food butter and the crown and the leaf of his order, he began to say, Depart, for the girl has not died, but is asleep. And they began laughing at him.
Okay, maybe we need to go on and read where he goes ahead and raises it from the dead.
So just keep reading.
Keep reading.
But when the crowd had been put out, he entered and took her by the hand, and the girl arose. And this news went out into all that land.
They laughed at him first, though, didn't they? Am I wrong or what? That's okay. There's another instance where there was. What about Lazarus' sisters? They raised him. He raised him, and she saw what she said. She goes, he's already dead. So, by faith, the point of this chapter, I believe, is like Peggy said, the Bible wasn't even written for those people. This is written for us to look at and to take something away from it. So, we have what they didn't have. Go ahead.
Their faith. They had faith, even though they didn't have not received the promise, but they saw ahead of Christ coming and what he was going to do for them. They knew that through their faith. They knew that God was going to give them the promise, and it all leads up. All their faith leads up to Jesus coming. Just like our faith today, it's the same thing. We have faith. Now, are we going to see that? We may not, or it may not come to the end. But we know the faith, if we continue to live, we're going to have that faith once we die, that Christ will eventually come and we'll all be up with him. So that's the same kind of faith they had. They knew that God promised us in the future. He said, we were not going to be able to see that.
And they believed it. They believed it was coming just like Monday morning we're going to work. They believed that just that much.
If we don't have the same kind of faith, what are we doing? If you don't have faith that once you die that God's going to do what he says he's going to do, then there's no use doing anything if you don't have that faith.
That's right. That's exactly right. You really got to have it. So that's why I started this class off this morning with the question, why are we here today? But we have faith enough to know that this is the Lord. And I really, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, man, this is what this class is about. Somewhere along the line, you've had somebody in your lineage that it might not be your mother or father. It might be your mom. It might be somebody. It might be your aunt. It might be somebody you saw that was the example that you saw. What else is going to lead you to read this? It might not even be a family member. 9 times out of 10 it might be somebody that really takes going out to spread the gospel and has the term Scott knows I like to use intestinal fortitude to sit there and ask you, I believe this guy was listening. Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking, look at Moses. Do you think that God just planted that in his mind and he knew what to do?
He didn't even want to do it.
Well, besides, go back to the beginning, who trained him? Who raised him? Where did he get this information? his mother.
Yes, that's what I saw.
So, you know, she taught him as he was growing up. And that's evidently, I don't know if it says anywhere in the Bible, but it had to have been. There's no other explanation. How he learned about his background, you know, so he was taught. Not only the Egyptian.
Did his mother make contact with him some, even after she got him in the basket and took him in? Wasn't there? Maybe not. I can't remember all.
She took care of him. She was a nursemaid.
Okay. So he did have some of that in his life somewhere.
He had a lot of it if it was coming from his mother to raise him according to what God wanted him to know.
And Weaver's heard me tell him before. Yes. And I worked with a member of the church. His mother, I don't know anything about his mother, but she did raise him in the church. And he was convinced that there was no God. And he was a smart guy. He was one of our teachers. And he also counseled kids. And his wife was the residence psychologist at the prison. And he read different books. He was so bitter. And he was pretty much, here we go again, labeling people, but he was very liberal. He would read different books. God doesn't exist. And he really read a lot of books to try to convince himself that there was no God. I mean, he worked at it hard because he had downtime. And when he had breaks, he read that book constantly. I'd see the title. So I thought that was pretty much fascinating. The bell needs to be rung at 10 o'clock, the 10 after 10. So first bell is over, I'll just go ring the last one, so no one does. Let's go to Acts. Let me read this verse forward. Some faced, 36 said, some faced jeers and flogging and even chains and prison. They were put to death by stoning. They were sawed in two. I didn't know about that one. They were killed by the sword. They went about in sheepskins, goat skins, destitute, persecuted, and mistreated. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered in deserts and mountains, living in caves and in holes in the ground. These were all commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised, since God had planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be perfect. Now that ends the chapter. Let's go to Acts 7, 54 through 60. We got time for that. That's important. They go on before I'm headed here. Okay. The Sanhedrin was a council. Stephen was very much Christian, preached the truth. When the members of the Sanhedrin heard this, they were furious and gnashed their teeth. Now we thought, well, can you really believe that people would get mad enough to gnash their teeth? That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. But when Stephen, full of the Holy Spirit, looked up to heaven and saw the glory of God and Jesus standing at the right hand of God, look, he said, I see heaven open up and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God. At this they conveyed their eyes and yelling at the top of their voices. They all rushed at him and dragged him out of the sea and began to stone him. See, at first, you think about how hard it was. First they gnashed their teeth. Gnashed their teeth. Then they began to stone him. They dragged him out of the city and began to stone him. Meanwhile, the witnesses laid their coats at the feet of a young man named Saul. Were these witnesses the ones throwing the stones? And why did they go there? This was Paul. But later on, Paul was one of the ones locked in chains and didn't live in prison. What they're referring to in the last chapter. And I ain't got time to get into that. I got a question if somebody can answer that for me. Weaver, I'm going to go to you. Did they throw their coats off at the feet of, that's how they go, so they could throw the stones? Would you state code they have better? Okay. He didn't hold Stephen's clothes like well. They just took their clothes so they could throw the stuff. Okay. That's just a little side note there. I understand. Yes, I just. Isaiah, the prophet. Okay, well, we have no proof that's the Bible. Well, it's 10:15. Y'all agree with